Welcome to Beyond Wealth, Success Unscripted with Matt Calnan. Discover the personal drive, professional journeys, and business strategies that have made a real impact. It's success from the inside out.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're chatting with Dave Agema. Dave's one of the top performing real estate agents in Lethbridge, Alberta, and has been for many years. And Dave's now built out a real estate team to help continue to drive towards that success. Dave, can you just maybe kick off by telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you're doing?
Yeah, so I've been a licensed realtor since 1981. Started at 21 years old, look 16 years old.
You still look 16.
That's my IQ. It's getting closer to my IQ level now than my actual age. So went through the ranks and worked for a number of companies along the way, achieving the sales status that I desire to achieve. And then owned my own brokerage for approximately 15 years, and then make life changes. So now I work with a group of three of us. I'm in the lead generation business, presentation, etc., to bring the leads in. And then once we get the leads, I pass them off to my team, and they look after the people really well.
What was maybe the influence in moving over to that model versus being the single agent model?
Time. This is not a dress rehearsal. This thing called life, and kids are gone, and you realize that how much do you really need, and how much do you want, and where are your passions? So to continue on my journey of change over the course of my next 5 years, going from my mid to late 60s, etc., was how do I still maintain the passion? I love a lot about this business, but a lot of the stuff I don't want to do anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't do a lot of showings. I just am the background advisor should I be needed. So that's basically my forte, is the lead generation, as I think you could say, because there's a lot of us agents in Lethbridge, and so I have to make sure that I stay current and outright, and then of course use my experience to win the business for the team. But the biggest thing is time. Life's too short to continue to work and make more what for who. So you have to find that balance in life, you bet.
Yeah. So you're on the lead generation side, then you pass over the showings, the paperwork, all of that to the rest of the team, and then they can execute from there.
Correct. And I don't ignore everything. I certainly am in the loop of every conversation. We meet every week to go over every file to certainly discuss options, strategies, etc. I'm in the loop, and a lot of I do co-list everything, so I'm still in the loop. But certainly the strength of the team is that basically I don't want the monkey back. We have a very competent, a very experienced team. That their strengths is they're in their 30s, not 60s.
Yeah.
And so
More
they bring
energy.
a lot of that more energy. And but also, I'm at a point in time where how many more years will I ski the moguls? How many more years do I want to play hockey? How many more years, do I want to be physically strong? And you got to devote time for stuff that's meaningful. But the biggest thing is retirement for me, or slowing down for me, is retiring from stuff I no longer want to do, but enhance my strengths where my passions are, which is, a lot of studying of stats and economics and trying to understand the real good stuff of life, because it's been a very big blessing. Life is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people would be interested or curious to know, on that lead generation side, what do you do to help drive those leads? And I mean, obviously you've been in the industry a long time, since you're 21, so the longevity behind that helps that. But what are some of the tips that you could work on, or that other people could work on?
I'm able to talk to a camera like this quite easily. I'm quite easy to record a radio, even though like I'm on social media, etc., trying to be different, unique, forthright. So again, I'm trying to parlay to my demographic, which of course is the 50 plus demographic, which a lot of homeowners are. And so I'm still pretty heavily involved in the radio, just to build the lead generation, even though some people say, well, that's really outdated and nobody listens to it. But there's a lot of radios that stay on all day in office towers, office buildings, store fronts, etc. And I know it's sometimes people say, where do you get the lead? It's a numbers game. You throw enough mud at the wall, something's going to stick, and you just got to keep trying to tweak as things change, and be on the forefront of those changes to to educate the public of where our value is. It's not just opening the door, but in the sense of, what makes sense in this property, what doesn't make sense in this property, what to look
Yeah.
for in this property, what to buy, where to invest, et cetera, et cetera. So we're the advisory capacities. I'm more into the lead generation. That's strictly numbers game. But again, I'm not all into social media. I'm not all into radio. It's just a number of clicks to hear the voice, see the picture, see the face, etc.
Yeah.
Belonging to social clubs or organizing things to help raise money in different factions, which I do like, and so therefore I meet people and they like you, and they deal with people that they like, and so
Yeah.
your job is to be out there. You got to be out there in the forefront. So that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing is,
Attending events
and you can't fake it. You
Mhm.
have to really be interested in what you're doing and for a good cause. And that's my passion is the lead generation, honest lead generation. I call it, not flake stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're really talking, you're building that funnel, and then, X amount goes in at the top, and then at the end of it, you're going to end up with so many leads that come out of that.
Yeah, it's people always say, can you gauge your leads? Well, if I'm slow, I increase the marketing. When I'm swamped, I might not be as aggressive, but still maintain a consistent drip, because like the funnel, if you don't prospect on a steady basis, you're going to have a vacuum in that tube. And that's a long ways to yes, you got to constantly do it, but there's multitudes of streams of where to be. I mean, if you're involved in a sports program, hockey group, ski group, organizing capacity where they see your leadership, and if they like your leadership, be very careful that I've seen people go into stuff that they think they're good at, and it actually damages their business model because they're not that good at it, and it shows in their performance. So but if I don't get in front of a client, a potential buyer or a seller, I have nothing. So if I get in front of the client, my best guess is about 75% of the time I will win the business.
Okay.
And that's through experience. And so through repetition and 43 years of experience, when they start the question, I've heard it so many times, I can address it really quickly by I know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. You said a couple of things in there that I just want to peel out. So you're talking about, you do a lot of events, you do a lot of raising money, and I think you meant raising money on the charity side there, being, part of different groups and whatnot. But another thing you said in there was about being authentic in it. And I think that's a really important thing when you're in those groups. You have to be authentic, because people will sniff that out. If you're just there for your own gain, I think that's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, the Zig Ziglar said it beautifully, and I've read, even though he's an old timer to nobody even maybe hears him, but of course he's not no longer in the business. But he said people won't care about you until you show them how much you care about them, and it has to be sincere because they can see through an act.
Yeah.
Do you actually care about the situation? Now, I also believe in win-win. It's not where you do it for nothing and just keep giving without some gift back. But the gift of your ideas to raise $36,000 a year for a cause because of your marketing experience, that can be used for the benefit of other causes to no financial gain directly from it.
Yeah.
But because of your talents, they tell two friends, Dave's a good guy. He's working his butt off to help this cause. Let's help him help this cause effectively. But you can't fake it. And if I've been in that situation where you take on something that is above your head, and you should have never taken it on, and then it does you actually harm than more good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fair comment. Can you tell me something maybe earlier?
Oops.
No problem. Got to turn it the other way.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you tell me something maybe early on in your career that was influential in leading to your success?
I remember, it's funny how as far back as your childhood, you have instances where certain people along the journey have said certain things to you. A grade 10 teacher, Mrs. Brown, took me aside one time, and she told me that if I kept my personality, I'd go a long ways. She says, your personality is right out there. You actually care about people. It's got to be win-win, not win-lose. You both got to benefit strongly to all concerned that's involved in the deal. But the biggest thing is, do you actually care? Is it just for the money? Do you actually care about the situation of the people? Do you feel their situation? and also be strong enough and confident to ease their stress levels in the transaction. But yeah, that's the big one, is do you actually care about the people that you do business with, and you worry about them, and you actually remember their situation 6 years later, and you say things like, how is your daughter doing since that accident?
Yeah.
It shows you care, not just. And so, yeah, and it's not all about the numbers. I mean, it's about, naturally the business will come to you based on each transaction you do by word of mouth. I think that in a really strong relationship of good, you'll probably have 20 years of referrals. In a strong a bad relationship or something gone wrong, equally you'll have 10, 20 years of, I would never use that person again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not that every situation is going to be perfect. It's just that I really believe that, people say, well, I want to deal with so-called the best people. Well, you're going to deal with 75% of the people that absolutely need your help to get through the stuff, and they're not going to be always easy. Remaining calm and leadership based and empathetic based, servant based, will win the race, where we're not judging your stupidity or your questions or your insecurities or your anxiety. We're just saying, okay, we're going to get through this together. I know it's stressful. Hang in there. We'll get through this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So if somebody was looking to get into, whether it's your industry or business or whatever they're looking to do in life, what's a skill or habit that you do that's helped really drive towards that success?
I think the ability to parlay what's on your brain to what is out of your mouth. A lot of people think, but they can't express what they really think, or the ability to see through challenges quickly for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think that I have been given a gift. I have been given a gift that I intend to do good with, not just for my own benefit, but benefit of the others around me.
Yeah.
I think that feeds me, and also, yeah, in a sense of the big picture of life. I mean, helping others is the best satisfaction you can get, for yourself, your family, your community, and your country and your world. Is how can I be of help to you, not self. But I think the ability to communicate, as I would have never been able to do this 25 years ago. Not a hope in heck. I would have been stammering, stumbling,
Like on a
backed out,
podcast like
canceled.
this.
I could never have done that, but through enough repetition, and experience, and then actually after a lot of decades of thought and examinations and study, you do get to have an opinion about something through experience of life, and so it's easier to communicate that. But I would have stuttered like crazy 25 years ago. So it's just experience and time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. As you built out your team, and I'm not sure if you're building it out further, or if this is the team that you enjoy moving forward with, but what were you looking for in a team member when you brought them on board?
I think the bottom line, I think in the rule number one is, and I've made the mistake through trial and error, is I can't carry someone. Do you know what I mean? Like as a team going forward up the ice, as an example, you each got your jobs, you each got your positions. I can't worry about your position. So if the puck's going for the corner, that guy's going after the puck. He knows there's a guy going to the front. He knows there's a guy at the point. He knows as a defender is going to come in to protect him should he get pounded out.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to think. He doesn't have to say, oh, are they at the point? Oh, are they in the front? He knows they're there.
Yeah.
So I can do my
behind
job
it.
better. I can do my job better when I know that position has been dealt with. So on the same token, in our industry, my industry, it's a win-win. I after 43 years, 43rd year now, I'm well known. So I get in the door, and then the talent of the people that I have right now, and my two people, I don't have to worry about their position, and they don't need to worry about my position.
Yeah.
And that's all proven through time and time again at our meetings, with comments like, was that done? Of course. Was that done? Yes, it is. That's done. Yes, it's already handled. Yes, it's already done. Have you thought about this? Yes, I have. Any questions in between, but I don't have to worry, are they being looked after?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't have to worry about, are you spending the dollars and the energy, David, to produce the leads doing the stuff you need to do to get the leads our way, so at least we get a chance to talk to the people. If I don't get to talk to the customer, but then when you're going with that powerful team, yeah, it's a really cool thing to see. And I think every analogy that you can use on an NHL hockey team is the same thing. They're forever trying to figure out what is the right combination of talent and energies and strengths in each position. You know, after I've been through, I guess, 60,000 plus doors in 43 years, I don't need to try to sell you on how to change linoleum. You know what I mean? I can see, I'm so far beyond that. I'm more into the, do you know why, how important it is to get into a house as fast as you can, and parents to help with down payments, and grandparents to help with down payments. And it's not a secret. It's just that if you want to learn, it's there about how little you know. Yeah. So it's just, I see things based on 43 years of experience behind me.
Yeah. I want to dive into that a little bit. You said, you know, the importance of getting into a property now, and whether it's parents or grandparents or whoever helping out on that down payment. Obviously, right now we're in pretty uncertain times. There's some pretty weird market conditions, whether it's in the housing market, the stock market. We've got interest rate uncertainty, bond market uncertainty. What do you mean by that in people getting into a home now? And why is that important, and how do they go about doing that?
Okay, so first and foremost, there has never been unquestionable times. There's never been smooth sailing.
Yeah.
No one has any clue what's going to happen in 25, 35, 45 years.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is all we can know is go on experience of 100 years of history and what to do. So, for example, I just have a campaign out there right now in media land, how important it is to buy your first home as young as you can. And a lot of people don't understand this. So, for example, I met a friend through one of my social clubs, and he's got an 18-year-old son, and I said, "Can you afford to co-sign, and can you afford a down payment for him?"
Yeah.
Because that's the minimum age requirement in Canada to own something. He said, "Well, he's really young, and shouldn't he stay at home to save money?" And I said, "Let me tell you, you know, if you can get an up-down suite house, which you still can more affordably in Lethbridge, Alberta, than some other places.
Yeah.
That's a $15,000 down payment. Let's say, for sake of argument, we're undervalued in the city, and so I'm basically telling parents and grandparents that the average house is expected to climb above 5% this year in Alberta due to supply-demand economics, the population growth and all that stuff. So I said, your 15 grand is going to double, plus you'll pay off 7 grand of the mortgage, if not 8 grand of the mortgage. So now your 15 grand is $37,000 tax-free equity in the development of a child's wealth. And being wealthy is not sinful. Love of money might be, where that's all you live for. That's not the point. But if you're given an opportunity to learn, and people think, oh, you got a special gift or special talent. No, no, no. It's time. Time is the biggest reason for success and financial development. And real estate, I know everybody wants a home, and we don't need to talk about money all the time. But the vast majority of the people I see with any kind of wealth is real estate related. And so at 18 years old, if you look at a normal projection of 100 years of statistics, the average house is climbing 2%. Now people say, "Oh, that's really slow." No, it adds up really quick over time.
Because it's compounded as well, right? It's compound growth.
Oh, it's compound. Thank you. Yes, it's compound growth. So it's not going to guarantee you any kind of happiness, more so than not. But of course, one of the sayings is, I've been miserable and broke and miserable and well off. And trust me, at least when I'm miserable and well off, I've got a few more options. And certainly, yes. I mean, and being in a healthy marriage and staying married healthy is certainly one good way for wealth creation. But, you know, when you tell a family that this is one way to help a child go from a $15,000 equity base to a $35,000, $37,000 in a 12-month period, where do you make anywhere near that? And so, you know, the joke is, here's a ladder to get married, but I'm giving you a down payment instead. That's not wrong at all. I think that's a very honest comment. Example is a family bought a house in 2009. And the principal, up down suite, and the parents ran the house. And the house went from 285 to 330 in value in that 10-year window, which is not huge gain.
Yep.
But that 15 grand was $153,000 in equity in 10 years for that now 32-year-old who
Yeah,
was
that's
22
big.
years old. So when he got married, he had student debt, truck loans. So when he did move to a different city, because that's where she was from. And anyway, he paid off his student loans with the equity. His truck loan was paid off. He had no bills getting married other than a mortgage payment, but he still put down. He had $93,000 left of the 153 after all his debt was paid.
Yeah.
So 93 grand on a purchase of a home is a heck of a down payment.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So there's an example of, okay, so yes, I paid for my kid's education, or in a, let's say, 10-year window, my $15,000 gift with managing the building, trying to teach the kid about the rental business, turned into 153,000 tax-free.
Yeah.
And so it's just knowledge. And when people say, what's the secret to success? It's all there if you're willing to apply the actions required to make a change in your life.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Nope.
And just so everybody understands the math on what you're saying. So you're saying, if you buy a house for 300,000, which for a lot of people might seem crazy in Lethbridge, Alberta, it's not crazy. But if you're buying a house at 300,000, you're putting your 5% down and getting CMHC funding or insurance on the rest. So there's your 15,000 down. If it goes up by 5% over that year, you've now gained 15,000. So you've made the 15 on the 15, probably paid off another $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 worth of debt. So now all of a sudden you're looking at that and saying, I don't want to do the math here, but 160% return on investment. And that's pretty tough to get. Yeah.
You cannot find it. And right now in Alberta, in our town, particularly with immigration of both Canada, but into Alberta, because we have the highest per hour paid jobs, because the oil and gas industry has been phenomenal. But we had over 200,000 people move into the province, which is the biggest that they know of. In the sense of, but it's created a whole new challenge. But with that, there's also instead of a 2% gain, you're going to have a 5 to 7% gain in average house price. So it's just an opportunity, and you have to live somewhere. And people say, well, what does it mean? Well, another interesting stat I just did. So when I bought my first house in 1983, that's aging me. It was $50,000. And that $50,000 house today is worth about $225,000.
Yeah.
At the same token, the most expensive house in Lethbridge was probably a $275,000 house. The difference is for study part, people say, well, should I buy a bigger house or a more expensive house? It's kind of like a forced savings plan. So I always told myself I have $800 that I blow every month stupidly. Absolutely stupidly.
Too whatever
much
you want.
Lattes, too much burgers, too much whatever. So if you can keep yourself a little bit more poorer by having a bigger payment. So that house that was 50 is now 225 40 years later, for the sake of argument. That 275 is now 1.2 million. So you either grow 175 or you grew 950,000 by owning and living in a more expensive home.
Right.
So it's kind of a forced savings. I know people, and yes, there's more taxes, there's more maintenance. I know that, but you want 175, or do you want $900,000 more money in your savings account to then downsize when you're 65, kind of deal?
Sure.
And so far, that's tax-free growth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so far. And again, that's that compound interest effect. If you start with a higher base, then the end result is going to be significantly higher in the end. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. So that's the magic of the real estate wealth creation that has made more Canadians wealthy than anything else invested in. Yeah.
So Dave, has there been a book or a podcast or any other source for you that's been really influential or changed your outlook or had a big influence in your career?
There's multitudes. I think that one of the biggest things you do is that just because you see it on any source of resource to learn doesn't mean it's right. It's a person's opinion. And you need to take the time to analyze those opinions, where it's coming from. And everybody's so concerned about how times are tough, but every statistic has shown that is the best time to be alive as a human statistically is now. So we first of all got to get our head around this, that we're getting better. We're not going down the toilet. Yes, we're going to have issues all the time.
Yeah.
There will be bozos every time thinking they are the best of the best and whatever. But is there one single one? No. Is there 2 or 3 or 4? There's been influential comments. I remember I read a lot of books trying to learn this, and now it's all on the internet, etc. But I was reading Over the Top of Zig Ziglar's, even for some reason I just haven't mentioned him twice. But anyway, so his biggest influence on me to comment, like I had an epiphany that has changed my life, was in his book Over the Top. He said, don't try to get motivated to do something. Action creates motivation. Motivation creates energy. Positive energy. So a lot of times you can reflect on this. I should call my brother sometime. Call your brother.
Just
you have no idea what could change your direction. I should talk to that guy about buying a building with me. Just talk to that guy about buying a building with you.
Just do it.
You've got it. You just do it. You miss. I walked through a cemetery here recently. Well, not recently, last year. I said, you know how many ideas are in that ground? Do you know how many ideas are underneath this ground that were never acted on?
Come out.
Never. And they're gone. And so somebody will figure it out later on. But I'm saying is the fact that getting in shape, a better marriage, better savings, with no action, nothing happens. Nothing.
Yeah.
And so what I didn't realize was the energy that comes out positively from any action you think of. A lot of us hesitate for whatever reason to do something, whether you're 16 and see a pretty girl across the class, hi, can change your life. You shake a person's hands, that how we met, right? It's just, okay, here we go, let's go. We don't know. I met a business entrepreneur, and I said, how do you know when to invest? He says, we just do it. The rest you don't know. And I'm going like, that is honest. He said, as long as your group have honest intentions, you're going to go left, you're going to go right. Who the heck knew COVID was going to come? Who heck knows BSE is going to come? Who the hell knows that the financial crisis is going to come? You don't know. I remember the presentation of buying rental real estate, and the guy says, I got a business idea. Let me tell you, it's got, the best I can give you is a 50% success rate. It's going to take energy, money, time, resources, and I can only guarantee you 50% at best. And who's in? And nobody raised their hand. And how many of you are married? So you're willing to take the risk of marriage and not buy real estate that has never, ever failed. It has had booms and busts. So wait a second, you have marriage as an easy go-to, and you won't invest in ideas or strategies or relationships that have a much stronger success rate than the marriage cycle. And then my friend says, of the 50% who were successful, how many are really thrilled? I'm just kidding.
We won't go there.
Yeah, we won't go there. Yes, anyway.
So Dave, for anybody that might want to dive deeper or connect with you and see what you're up to, where can they go to see that?
Well, davidagema.com. My name is agema.com, and then also davidagema1@gmail.com. But I mean, I can only direct. I'm not going to coach you for life. There is so much stuff on the internet, guys, that are just inspirational, and certainly be inspired. But creation of habits is by repetition. So anything, whether it's cold calling, talking to friends, past clients, getting in shape, you just have to take the action, and then also make it a habit so that naturally you get up to go to the gym. My wife is phenomenal of going to the gym religiously, and it's such a habit now that she will suffer, addiction withdrawals if she stopped. But let me say one note. I spoke at the University of Lethbridge Business School one time, even though I have not. Well, actually, no, I have no degrees. I just went through the School of Hard Knocks. I call it my PhD, pretty hard days. Anyway, let me tell you a good story, though, about the importance of the right relationships. Is that I'm talking statistics and stuff with these fourth-year graduate students, which I have no idea what they do, but you just hire people that know what they're good at and you do what you're good at. Anyway, I said, let me tell you something though, guys. I happened to touch my wife's leg in the middle of the night. And what came over me is that I don't need to be anywhere else in the world. That's really important too. You have to have a reason of kids, family, spousal. They need you, you need them. That's the foundation that also needs to be dwelled on.
Yeah, they help create that purpose outside of just a financial purpose, right?
Yeah, you can only feed yourself so long and it becomes pretty empty. But when you got a kid to raise and you're doing the best you can, and kids understand we're doing the best we can as parents. Yeah. Are we perfect? No, we're human. But do we love them? Oh my goodness. Do we worry about them? One guy said, a parent is as happy as their saddest child. And I said, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good quote. It's a good quote. Well, Dave, I do want to thank you today for popping on and had a really good chat. And I'm sure we'll follow up and do this again sometime.
Go forward and do good work and pull somebody up with you and help along the way.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Take care. You bet. Bye.
You've been listening to Beyond Wealth, Success Unscripted with Matt Calnan. Want to be our next guest? Visit beyondwealthpodcast.ca/guest. See you on the next episode.